Whew, slash I do buckaroos. How the heck are you? I want to be Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer. Wow, I haven't done a live Monday video in a while, so I figured what the hell. It's the first beer of the day, so I'm going to start old school with old style and slancha. Oh, fuck nuggets, man. Uh, I do with I had something there. Cold when I first got it home, and I put some sweats on it. But now then I can start sweating, so I had to take them off. Had to take them off, man. Anyways, anyway, I digress. So I had been doing a series for a little bit, Monday Night News, but I kind of stopped it because it was getting a little, let's just say, polarizing, for lack of a better word. Our political season has gotten very hot, so I decided I was going to take a step back because there was nothing I was going to say that's going to change anybody's mind. So it just didn't make sense to just keep harping on it. And calling each other names back and forth is just counterproductive. So even though it does feel good sometimes. So I take a step back today. I just want to focus on the products, on the beer, on the whiskey, because whatever's going to happen next week is going to happen. I don't believe for a second that there's a soul in this country that's undecided, no matter what they want to tell you. There isn't anybody that's undecided at this point. Everybody's got their mind made up. And there's been so much happen on both sides that if anybody was going to change your mind, it would have happened by now. So there's no point going over stuff over and over again. Because, like I said, it just feels like it's counterproductive at this point. So I'm just going to relax, have a beer, whatever happens next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday is going to happen. And I will cast my vote. But other than that, there's not a damn thing I can do about it one way or the other. So, that being said, wanted to have that beer real quick to, get a little something in my belly. A little something. Smells like a safety meeting. Then I want to have a good beer behind it. Smells like a safety meeting. 8.5%, only 48 IBUs. It says pairs well with burger fries and a safety meeting. Oh, excuse me. This pale ale is very reminiscent of the hops cousin in the mulberry family. Lots of the hops cousin in the mulberry family. Okay, make sure I was reading that right. Didn't sound right to me. Lots of hop aroma with just the right amount of bitterness between the secret blend of the most dank hops we can get our hands on, and more than a healthy dose of double dry hopping. This beer can be announced to the nose from across the room. Someone is definitely having a safety meeting. So there you go. I mostly bought it for the name. I really love their double dark horse, but they didn't have it. I can't get dark horse products here, or double tree or something. I don't know, can't remember. Anyways, the double IPA wasn't available. I can't get them here in Springfield. I can only get them across the river. So we stopped at a Randall's just before we crossed the river into St. Louis on the way back from vacation. I like the way this thing looks. Both the color and aromas are very reminiscent of old school IPAs way back when, 100 years ago. No, well, not quite that long, but before everything had to taste like fruit. I feel like what the West Coast and then the hazy, they're all training wheels IPAs. You couldn't handle a real IPA. Well, back in our day, It tasted like biting a grapefruit and taking a eucalyptus cough drop at the same time. And we liked it. anyway, anyway, that might sound like an exaggeration, but it really ain't. Because that's what they did taste like. Uh, anyways, I digress, luncheon. Oh, I forgot to do something. I just realized though, so bear with me. People say bear with me when they don't have a bear with them. It's misleading, Tom. You don't have a bear with you. Anyway, just started drinking, believe it or not. Just got home from work, had a little bite to eat, tried to hurry up and put this together. I thought I gave myself plenty of time, but I was still late getting her going. Let me adjust this here real quick. And we're in business. Alrighty then. Smells like a safety meeting. All right. Love the name, man. Oh, excuse me. I may or may not have been the cause for a safety meeting in the past. Uh, I may have been the reason for a couple HR change. You know, what are you gonna do? Uh, Definitely maltier and a little sweeter, malt sweet than most of today's IPAs, but less fruity. Big, bold, brash, unapologetic. Yeah, it does remind me of a pre 2010 IPA before everything had to taste like fruit salad or taste like it belongs on a brunch buffet. Oh, mercy. What a song today. I heard it a lot of years, but now I've got it stuck on my head. 10cc Rubber Bullets. Great tune. Came through on a mix today. I was putting stuff on for work and oh shit. Hadn't heard that song in a long time. Oh, it's a great old tune. 10cc. How would you label them? I don't know. I think early on, I think that they kind of fit in the glam. I think at some point they kind of morphed into what became the soft rock category. But I feel like they started as more of a 70s glam band. But I feel like near the end of their tenure, they kind of morphed into that soft rock style. But songs like Rubber Bullets definitely feel a lot like glam to me. Damn. Yeah, this is nice. Again, it's definitely malt stickier than most IPAs these days. This is the only Dark Horse IPA that they had. That's why I picked it up. Also, I picked up a couple. I picked up their Plead the Fifth and Plead the Fifth some more. But this was the only IPA they had. I was kind of surprised. Of course, it's been a while since I've been over there. Last time I bought Dark Horse, it was all bottles and all that. All everything was in cans this time around. But like I said, it's been a minute. since I've been to that store. About a decade, as a matter of fact, maybe a little bit over a decade, actually. I think it was 2013 last time I was there. Oh, man. All right, now we're going to have some whiskey. I got some on the rocks here. Show you the bottle first. It's a Hard Truth Sweet Mash Bourbon. Straight bourbon whiskey, small batch, non-chill filtered. It is at 90 proof. Mash distilled and aged in charred American oak barrels in Brown County, Indiana. I didn't visit their distillery per se, but they had a Hard Truth bar at the Garage Food Hall in Indianapolis where they had some of their products. The first day we were there, we got there kind of late. We had some dinner and I bought a drink at the Hard Truth bar. So I picked up, they had a deal, kind of a combo deal for their sweet mash rye with their maple bourbon cream. So I bought that. But then I stopped there the next day and picked up this one. Show you that. And I'm going to start with it on the rocks, even though I did pour some neat. I don't want too much more water to get in here. I just poured 1 ounce even. I didn't want a lot. Gosh, that's nice. Oh, I got it about perfect. Get that right amount of cold, that right amount of melt. You get to what I like to call the sweet spot, where you get all those sugars coming right to the surface. I get like very, very dark brown sugar because you definitely feel some molasses. Just a little hint of maple as well. I feel like you get a little bit of honey too, to be honest with you. The taste and texture felt a lot like honey. All righty then. And Daddy's sippy cup here. Yeah, I've got some neat, man. So now I'm gonna relax. I got the hard part over with. I'm gonna relax at home from work. Knock the cheap beer down real quick. No, we don't have to drink this one fast at all. We can relax, take it easy. I also made a cocktail with this though that I'm gonna get here shortly. But so I used this. I was channeling cherry cordial, so I made a dark cherry simple with vanilla to kind of mimic that that vanilla cream in a cherry cordial. Uh, and then I used some cocoa bitters. But even though it's sort of the way you would make an old fashioned, I'm serving it straight up more like you would a Manhattan. We're just going to call it a cherry cordial. I don't want to use the term old fashioned because I don't know that it really fits that bill, other than it's got the whiskey is simple and bitters. Excuse me. But I tend to drink more this way as we head into the fall. Less ice. I'm not a huge fan of the big cube anyway, but it seems like that's how an old fashioned has to be served these days. You call something an old fashioned, people expect to see it on the rocks, but I'm really a straight up cocktail guy. So I'm gonna make my cocktails. I'm just gonna leave out those two words, old fashioned. So we're just gonna call this one a cherry cordial, using that sweet mash bourbon from Hard Truth. Man, it is gorgeous. Their products are insane. I gotta tell you, this one is at 90 proof. I've got their sweet mash rye though. Their cask sweet mash rye. That's, I mean, very drinkable, very approachable at that cask. This at 90 is, I mean, hell, I could drink this like water. Man, that is good. Got a lot happening today in the world. I checked the score real quick there before I started. Uh, I grew up in Southern California, so I'm a lifelong diehard Dodger fan, even though they tend to not be very popular these days. Of course, they weren't really popular outside of California when I was a kid. 1988. I'm going to tell this story again. So you may have heard this before. You may have heard this before. 1988, the Dodgers were heavy underdogs against the A's. It seemed like every so-called expert at the time, so the A's were going to win it in five. The Dodgers didn't even deserve to be there, man. But they somehow lucked into being there. They didn't deserve. I was living in Bellingham, Washington at the time. And the folks, they were rather unhappy that the two teams in the World Series were both from California because they hate everything California, even people that move up there. So I was in this little tavern in Fairhaven, little area right around Bellingham. And I've made a couple friends, but I'm telling you, it wasn't easy because they don't like transplants and they hate everything California up there, man. But they hate Los Angeles more than anything. So everybody that was watching the game was pulling for the A's, except me. And you say things like that. Though I was the one Dodger fan in a room of, but the truth is that isn't an exaggeration. In this case, I really was the one fan in a room of about 100 people. I mean, that's the only thing that, or the one thing that everybody in the room agreed on is they hated the Dodgers, except me. The Dodgers were just a heavy underdog, and I was young and cocky. We're going to win this one. And everybody was telling me why I was wrong. Tom, you haven't looked at this or this. There is no way the Dodgers can beat this A's team. And it was game one, and the A's put in Dennis Eckersley, who is the best. Usually, I would say arguably at this point, but I don't even think it was. I think it was just a foregone conclusion that at that moment in time, Dennis Eckersley was the best closer in baseball. There wasn't anybody better. But if it makes you feel better, you can say arguably to yourself. But I mean, when they put Dennis Eckersley in, every announcer said, "Oh hell, it's over." And then Kirk Gibson comes to the plate, limping. They weren't even sure if he was going to be able to play. Tommy Lasorda was being criticized hard for even keeping him on the roster. They're losing a roster spot for a man that can't play. This just doesn't make sense. I mean, Tommy's getting criticized, and everybody loved to criticize Tommy Lasorda, even though he won a lot. And then Kirk Gibson comes up, and of course now we don't need to add any suspense. We know he hit that home run, and I just remember sitting there at that little tavern, Cal's Tavern in Fairhaven. As soon as that bat hit that ball, I mean, you knew it was gone. So I mean, I instinctively jumped up and went, "Yeah!" And then I realized I was the only one. It was just me, man. And I know that sounds like an exaggeration, but it really was not. I finished my beer. I dropped some money on the bar, and I walked my ass out. I didn't say a word to a damn soul. So, there you go. And that was game one. That was game one. I mean, the series could have went any direction from there, but that moment changed the momentum. And of course, the Dodgers won the series. And but they had to win three more games. A's could have easily bounced back from that, but again, I mean, that just changed momentum. It changed the morale. I think at that moment, the Dodgers knew they could win and knew they were going to win. And I think it was that moment when the A's realized, damn, we could lose. And they did. And I feel like the same thing's going on here. I kept hearing when the Dodgers got to the World Series that Yankees in five, Yankees in five. So like every so-called expert was saying Yankees in five. No, I don't know. I haven't checked. I checked the score just before I started for Game 3, and it was 3-0 Dodgers at that time. But I've been a Dodger fan way too long to get cocky. So my wife says, "You can go home and watch the game." I said, "No, I can't do that. I'm going to get excited. I get yell at the TV. It's better if I just check in every once in a while." I take it a little too personal. Well, I don't watch sports a lot because I know me, man. And if they lose, I'm going to take it personal. It's my fault. Somehow I did something to make them lose the game. But the fact that they are up two games to zero at this point, they cannot lose it in five. So all those so-called experts that said Yankees in five are automatically wrong. And if the Dodgers win tonight, oh damn! So here's the thing: the first two games were in Los Angeles. I'm not extremely surprised they won both games. New York fans are New York fans. I mean, they get loud. Like I said, it was early. I'm not getting cocky because the momentum can change at any moment. And the Yankees have a hell of a team. They really do. But they are my mortal enemy. they they have crushed my hopes and dreams so many times that when it ended up Dodgers and Yankees, I said, "Oh God, not again." I can't take it, man. I don't think my nerves can take it in my old age. It was rough enough when I was a kid watching those Dodgers and Yankees series when the Yankees would beat the living shit out of us most of the time. But when the Dodgers won game one, it reminded me of 1988. And there was some of the circumstances were a little bit different, but there were some very eerie similarities. I went, oh, hmm. And so when it happened that way with that home run at the end, you oh damn. I was getting 1988 flashbacks, man. So anyway, we'll see what happens. And like I said, I haven't checked the score in a while, so the tide could have already turned and I would not know. So I just check in every once in a while. All right, you got me. I got to look now. In my tablet. I'll check the score real quick to see if I should be worried. And said I've been a fan way too long to get cocky. There were so many times that we were having a great season and they find a way to blow it in September and not make the playoffs at all. The bottom of the seventh, we're still up 4-0. I'm still not getting cocky. There's a lot of game left, man. Like I said, I've been a fan way too long to get too cocky too early. Not until we're down to that last out am I going to start to get excited that we might win this one. They've caused me an ulcer or two in the past, man. That's why I don't watch a lot of games anymore. I can't find a way to not take it that seriously. So I just don't watch. I just check in every once in a while. Or when I do watch a game, I make sure that my wife isn't here because she makes fun of me when I yell at the TV or tells me to calm down. It's just a game, and that just makes me even angrier. So I always make sure I'm alone when I'm watching the game. I don't go to a sports bar around other maniacs because that just drives it even more. I make sure I'm alone. I've never been quite as bad with football, but baseball's always kind of been my passion. I always wanted to be a ball player, but I just had no skill or talent whatsoever. But there's something about baseball for me. People want to talk about baseball being boring, and the game has changed over the years. Of course, people said it was boring back in the 70s too, but I think it was a faster paced game back in the 70s. It was a better game before they lowered the mound, in my opinion. But it was more of a pitcher's game back then. But I'm one of those. I'm a little different. Everybody, there's a lot of folks out there. I think the greater majority wants to see those home runs. They like those big, high-scoring games. But for me, the best game is that pitcher's duel. I mean, I love that 1-0 game. I really do. Watching, it's more like a chess match, right? Excuse me. When you got both pitchers on fire, and it's not just that; it's just the defense too. When you see plays where it could have been a single, but somebody catches the ball that it's unlikely that anybody could have caught it, but somehow he did, and he made that throw to first. Or somebody makes that catch in the outfield that should have been a home run but was caught. You know, that's the game I want to see. I know I'm in the minority there. I really do. I understand that, but man, that's my kind of ball game when nobody can score a damn run. The pitchers are on fire. The defense is on fire. That's my kind of ball game. I do, in all honesty, the home runs when a lot of runs are happening. Yeah, those are the games that are boring to me because you're watching the same thing over and over again. I want to see skill level. I want to see pitchers at their best. I want to see defense at its best. That's my favorite kind of baseball game. Ah, biscuits. Anyways, I digress. I had a cocktail ready to go, but since I've ran this one about 30 minutes, I'm gonna take a little breather and I may come back and do another video. But thanks for hanging out with me on a late Monday, helping me relax after work, calm the nerves, talk a little bit about whiskey and baseball. I do want to show you this one more time. Hard Truth Sweet Mash Bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey, small batch, non-chill filter. I gotta tell you, I love these products, man. Hard Truth ain't playing. They are not. And the one thing I really, I don't usually like to pat myself on the back, but I will here in this case, is I bought more whiskey than typical vacation. It's almost embarrassing how much I bought, but I didn't buy any of the names. I bought all small distillery product, and I'm really happy about that. So, anyways, I digress. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy. Sláinte, thanks for tuning in.